Welcome to another Dynamite Delight. I'm getting a little better with that. I'm feeling more comfortable saying Dynamite Delight. But I'm going to say this clearly, straight out. Was this a good show? Yes. Did it have flaws? Yes. Could you look past it? To a certain point, yes. But it's still going to piss you off when you try to look past it because so many important things are still not being done. And I'm going to keep saying them. And I know people are going to say, you need to relax a little bit. They've only been around a couple of months. Barely a month and a half, nearing 2 months. I understand that. But I have to still say it for what it is. Because this is a promotion that is on a major network. And yes, it's a startup promotion. Yes, I understand the people who are running it have never run a promotion before. They have worked in a promotion. They worked in certain executive positions. But you're going to have to say it for what it is. People who are watching the first time are going to see it for what it is. This is a wrestling show that has issues and it should be addressed. First thing, Nick versus Phoenix. Now, Matt pretty much got nailed by PP. PP. Pride and Power. I gotta keep saying PP. I'm sorry, guys. If you don't like me saying Pride and Power is PP, tell me below. I'll start trying to ease up a little bit. But I'm sorry. Whoever came up with Pride and Power, that was damn stupid. It's still funny. But you got... Well, let me put it like this. I am not a big high-flying fan. I'm just not. I'm a person who likes a well-balanced show. A well-balanced match. Of high-flying to a certain point, grapple wrestling, if there is any, and real strong smash mouth. I would like grapple, smash mouth, and high-flying if it's done in the right proportions. This match was more high-flying and smash mouth than it was really grapple. And I'm not saying the match was bad. When it came to Phoenix and Nick Jackson, it was a good match. It was a good match for what it was. A good opening match that really ramped up the fans and got them psyched for the rest of the show. No problem. It was very, very good, as you've seen a few shots that I managed to grab. In the end, Phoenix won it. But here's a problem for me personally. You guys, if you've already seen this show, you already know what happened with Chris. Y2J dealing with SCU. Now, SCU had a problem with Pentagon Jr. and Phoenix. But what's going on later in the night makes you wonder, where is Lucha Brothers now? And then the Young Bucks supposedly taking a little bit of a back seat to allow other tag teams to get the shine. Where are they going? Because as much as you could say, well, the Young Bucks have an attitude as big as a house, and the Slick Daddy from Off the Road Show Central, he does not like the Bucks a suck. But I have to see it for what it is. They're not one of the biggest emphasis of the show, but then they got to make sure they make the show mean something with them in it. They got to mean something to a certain point. So I don't know where they're going. I don't. So this is just me, you guys tell me below. You now have the match that pissed me off. It did. Britt Baker versus Cheetah. And Britt is supposedly #1 rank to be able to go after Rio. And Cheetah is #2 ranked. But the problem is, I don't get any promo segments from these women. I only saw one promo segment, well, not promo, vid pack from Britt Baker maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago. I have not seen nothing from Cheetah. Nothing. And the kicker for me is this. You already had a match with 2 women who are Japanese wrestlers. And I don't get a problem with it. but with no real character development, no real story. And I know when they did the match with Rio and I forgot her name. I'm sorry, guys. It's just they're so forgettable. It pisses me off. Honestly, I shouldn't be forgetting, and I am, because I'm not getting any real backstage segments with them. I'm not getting any promo segments from them. I'm not getting any in-ring segments from them. I'm not hearing them talk, and I don't care if they have to have subtitles. I've said it myself. Get a freaking interpreter to type out everything under when they do their video packages, or get an interpreter to talk for them. It makes better sense. But as it stands, the women's division is so weak, so incredibly dull. Even though they put on great matches in many cases, I'm not invested. Now, Cheetah won, and Britt Baker got a busted nose, as you can see in my face. But I don't care. And I'm not going to say, well, I'm going to start looking at AEW Black. Not going to happen, because I don't have time for it. I don't have time to look at AEW Black. I don't. So how am I going to know about these women? If they do any, and I didn't see anything, but I'm sure they had to do some type of interviews on AEW Dark. I need it here. This is the main show. Unless AEW Dark becomes its own show like SmackDown and Dynamite becomes like Raw, I don't care. I don't care about these women. And that is a major thing that makes me angry. Here's the second thing that makes me angry. We had a segment where Chris Jericho was coming to the ring. And I know I'm kind of skipping around, and I'm going to skip around a little bit, but I got to say this now. Chris came out with Hagar. And they were coming, and you see Avalon with the librarian. I think that's his name, the librarian, or the woman that's the librarian, because I've not heard her talk yet. I think she talked once. I heard her talk once, and that was last year at All In, or All Out. I don't remember. But I saw Chris talking. I think I even got a shot of it. It's in my face. If I don't, well, sorry. But I see them talking, and they go to picture in picture. Oh! I want to know what they're saying. I want to understand what they're saying. I need to understand what they're saying so I can understand what Hagar is saying to Avalon, if it's important. How the hell am I going to know if anything's important? Later, after that, you got Marco Stunt. After the Battle Royal, I will get to that in a minute. After the Battle Royal, he was talking to Chris Jericho. I don't know what was being stated. I don't know what was going on. And it makes me so freaking angry that they're not budgeting their time better. There are so many big gaps for their talent. Look, you need to understand this. If you cannot understand who these people are, why do you care? Match quality means eventually nothing. And I feel so pissed off that, guess what? The WWE at least will give you maybe one video package if they're showing somebody, or one interview, or one backstage segment. And they're not stupid enough to cut away to a commercial. Seeing the scenes in a picture-in-picture doesn't give me any context. I'm just seeing some people talking, and unless I can read lips, I don't know a damn thing that's going on. Now, the Dynamite, what was it called? The Dynamite Dozen Battle Royal is supposed to be a Battle Royal to claim two people. The two people who are last there, they're going to have a match next week, and the person who wins gets a diamond, what is it? A dozen Battle Royal ring. I don't know what that means. It's not something new. I mean, it's not like a title. It's just a ring, supposing a ring, unless it's like this big, or it's supposed to go on your finger, and you slip it on. Not to you guys, but you know what I mean. They're saying if you win the match next week, because this Dynamite Dozen Battle Royal, you fight for a ring. If it's a ring to go on your finger, why? Why haven't they decided to just introduce a new title? They could do the Battle Royal to see when the next pay-per-view comes around, that guy and the other guy gets the opportunity for that next title. Why couldn't they set it up like that? Instead of saying this is supposed to be for a ring. Now, there was a lot of people in this Battle Royal. I'm not going to name them all. But a few things did happen. You got Pentagon Jr. being the first person eliminated because of Christopher Daniels posing as Phoenix. Then you get this picture in my face of a Billy Gunn. And he got a lot of pops. People were loving him. And there was one point where Billy Gunn was in front of Sonny Kiss. And he torquing his ass off in front of him. And Billy Gunn smiling like, oh yeah, shake that ass. And then the second time around, MJF throws out another person, which Billy Gunn got pretty pissed about. And Billy Gunn eventually gets eliminated by MJF, who I think the crowd really wanted to see at the end of this Battle Royal. I think he should have been at the end. I think he should have been the one to win it along with MJF. It would have been a nice dynamic. Because simply put, and taking away what happened with Havoc, because Jimmy Havoc got a staple gun, started stapling everybody, you got at the end, look, I understand that saying that, well, how can I say this? Look, Hangman Page now has left the Elite. He's not there anymore. But I don't care. Because they have not sponsored Hangman Page enough. He's done... I guess the reason I'm getting angry here is because they're not thinking about the casual fan. Or someone who's never, even if they're a hardcore fan, who's never seen the indies. Who's never seen it. They could be a hardcore fan of Impact Wrestling, ROH, even WWE. It does not mean they've seen every indie promotion or seen Hangman Page before. They may have heard of him, but they've never seen him. And now that he has been sponsored, and they don't give him any video package, they don't give him any in-ring segments, they don't give him any interviews, unless it's done on AEW Dark, which not everyone's going to see, how are you going to get the guy over? Because as it stands right now, he doesn't even feel like a cowboy to me. He doesn't feel like Hangman Page, a cowboy. He's not like a James Storm. He's not like a Blackjack Mulligan. He's not like a Billy Gunn who used to be in the Young Guns. He doesn't feel like a cowboy. He doesn't feel like a bad guy. Or a good guy for that matter. He just feels like a guy who likes dressing up as a cowboy that doesn't really mean much. Now he's going up against MJF, who managed to sneak himself into that match. He survived it. He got us right. But well, I will say that I love MJF being such a nasty heel. And what is it? Wardlow was there to scare everybody, including Billy Gunn. I'm wondering if Wardlow is going to be dealing with Billy Gunn. But that's just me. You guys tell me below. Then you got the segment that I did enjoy. But the problem was that the picture-in-picture stuff got me pissed off after it was over. And before. But you got Hagar and Y2J. And Y2J pretty much is saying, I'm sorry, I wanted to say that it was not becoming of a champion to act like a baby last week. And he could not say, I'm sorry. So he had Hagar say it. And you guys tell me below. Does Jake Hager look like he has braces? Because I saw him show his teeth, and he looked like he's got braces, which I'm going to learn myself because eventually I got to do something about these teeth. But Hager is one that said, I'm sorry. And every time he had to say sorry, people enjoyed it. That's the first time we've seen Hager on a mic say anything, and it's perfect. Hager doesn't need to say much. He just needs to act and only need to talk when it's necessary. I'm sure more than a few people are going to be happy that Hager is not talking much because they think he can't talk. Or he has no charisma. In this situation, he still feels like a badass because he's not doing anything other than being total muscle and showing that he can flex. Then you got SCU come out, and it was Scorpio Skye who was doing the business. It was not Kazarian, it was not Christopher Daniels. But here's the thing that felt so kind of forced, which kind of brought it down for me. It was a good segment. Here's the problem. It was not as good as MJF dealing with Chris. That was magical. that was great. Now, when you have Chris dealing with Scorpio Skye, it was okay. It wasn't bad. But it felt forced that Chris was trying to set up everything for next week where Scorpio Skye is going up against Chris for the title. It felt so forced because it didn't even seem that SCU was even tricking Chris into it. Chris was just doing it himself. It felt so cringe. I could be wrong. You guys tell me below. But it felt cringe. Like Chris legitimately had to set it up for them because it looked like these guys were not doing their job. They were not trying to I'm sorry, they're in my face. I just felt like when it came to Kaz, came to Christopher, and when it came to Scorpio Skye, it felt like they weren't really trying to set the entire thing up so it would make it easier for Chris to act like he was an idiot and fall for it. It just didn't feel right. But we are getting the match next week, which is a great moment for Scorpio Skye. I'm alright with that. Next, Avalon versus Luchasaurus. Now, I didn't say anything about Luchasaurus being involved in the video segment with Chris, with SCU, with Hagar, and the rest of the Inner Circle. I left that part out because I wanted to say it in disrespect. Seeing that Luchasaurus was not in the Battle Royal, I would have thought they would put him in the Battle Royal because it would have made sense to have him in the Battle Royal, but he was not there. Since I didn't mention it there either. But seeing that he destroyed Avalon within a few seconds, when Avalon pretty much said, hey, it's great to see you back, but I'm going to turn you into tar and make you extinct. And within a few seconds, he destroys his ass. Instant destruction. I think 5 seconds. He gives him a tail whip and he's gone. Well, at least a very half of a tail whip. But simply put, Luchasaurus destroys. And I really do like the Luchasaurus. It's not the fact that he can flip, he can kick. He just has such a unique character. When was the last time you heard someone call themselves a dinosaur? He just has it. I love the Luchasaurus. But I'm worried they're not going to do something right with him. I'm not lying here. I'm hoping to do something with him with Jurassic Express. But he must be booked properly. He's one of the major attractions of AEW. If they don't put him right, if they don't make him right, if they don't show him right, this is going to be bad. This is an attraction. Like Andre the Giant, in a very small sense. Let's make this clear. He's not Andre the Giant power and caliber. He isn't. But because this is a startup promotion, and he's such a unique character, he can have a very light effect, like an Andre the Giant. He's one of the biggest guys there next to Hagar. Hagar and him had that stare down with the fight with the Inner Circle, dealing with Chris and SCU. You see it in my face. You see, that could be something right there. Luchasaurus versus Jake Hagar. That I would actually want to see. I want to see Jake Hagar go up against Luchasaurus. I want to see Luchasaurus go up against Jake Hagar. And let's see if they can pull off a match with that at a pay-per-view, not a show. Build it into something. That's what I want. I want Hagar. I want Luchasaurus. I want the Inner Circle dealing with that Jurassic Express when the time is right. And then they have their match. I want to see it. Let it be a story. But this is just me. You guys tell me below. Now, Matt Travis was a guy from House of Glory. And it just is sad to see that he got ran down in New York where I live, riding a bike. I could be wrong. As far as I understand, he got killed by a guy driving a car while he was riding a bike. It's sad. It's honestly sad to see something like that in my city. It is. And since both, it's not that the match was bad. The match was beautiful. It was really great. It's just sad to see this type of situation when it comes to Santana and Ortiz where they really don't have a lot of power behind them. This would have meant something more important if it was at the end of the night. I'm sorry, guys. As much as I love Moxley and Darby Allin's match, and it was a really good match. It was a match that I truly did enjoy? This should have been at the end of the night to show respect to Matt Travis, because Private Party was trained partially by him. And Santana Ortiz knew him, got him off the streets, and got him into wrestling. This should have been at the end of the show. Honestly, this was the second best match of the night. Flat out, no questions asked, no problem. It was. It still felt like it should have been at the end of the night. It should have been for that. If you really believe in honoring somebody, you don't put it near the end of the show. You leave it at the end of the show. If these two teams knew the guy, no matter, even if he wasn't from your promotion, and you want to honor him, put it at the end of the show. That's what they should have did. I know this was really sudden, and no one expected that Matt Travis was going to die, but I truly believe that if this was the way it was, they could have pushed the Darby Allin match with Moxie to the next week and put this on the show and tell every team, ladies and gentlemen, we have had a change in our program. We stated in social media already that we've already changed the original schedule that we had for Moxie versus Darby Allin, and it's been moved to the next week due to the fact of what happened to a person who's been in the wrestling business for many, many years, and is Matt Travis. Two of our teams who were very close to him now made the request, could they have a match? And we here at AEW want to make sure that we care about our people here, and we care about people who work in the wrestling community, and we're going to put this at the end of the show. That would have been better. But this is just me. In the end, it was who won it. It was Private Party who won. It was okay that they won it. It was okay. And I think they could have made it last a little longer before the beatdown of Private Party by the Inner Circle. And then you got, who was it that came out? It was Guevara coming out. And then Dustin came out. I think it would have been better not to have the fight, because this was honoring somebody. I understand you have to do the storyline, but in this situation, this one time, you could have forgo the storyline, and let Private Party and Pride and Power have that moment, hug each other, because this wasn't about storyline. This was about someone who is personal to both of them. That's just me. You guys tell me below. Finally, Kenny Omega had a video package. He was exercising. He was explaining, hey, I know that what you've seen lately is not me. I don't normally act like this, do crazy matches the way I just did. But things have been going well for me. And I really finally realized when it started, and that was when Pac beat me. And the gift of the officials at AEW, the officials, he's one of them. The officials at AEW have graced me with the chance to face somebody. Pac, I'm coming for you. I'm going to destroy you. I'm going to do whatever it takes. Now, it was good to see that. It was good to see that for Kenny Omega. Now, the question is going to be when they're going to have... Well, they're going to have it. The match is going to happen. I just don't know if it should be rushed. Because if they're still doing a redemption story for Kenny Omega, I think they should build it up. Because think about Pac. Pac. No, Pac. I'm saying Pac. I don't like Pac. Pac. Think about him. He's already lost to Hangman Page. And as I said in my last review, he should have shown rage, madness, because he can't stand losing, particularly to Hangman Page. And he should destroy anything and everything to get revenge on Hangman Page. And that would make more sense for Hangman Page. But no. Now you're going to have this with Kenny Omega, and you never really dealt with anything with Pac, who really has an attitude. The bastard doesn't like losing. And now you're rushing him to go straight into Kenny Omega, where probably Kenny Omega is going to have to rise, and Pac, I'm getting them mixed up now. He's not going to have any type of redemption or any type of revenge. I'm just saying. Final match, Darby Allin versus Moxley. A very, very physical match. This wasn't about high flying here. This was physical. Yes, Darby Allin is a very strong high flyer, but he's extremely physical. And in this situation, it was a good dynamic from what I saw. This wasn't about wrestling holds. This was about incredibly high smash mouth with crash death. You can see one of the images in my head, in my face. I don't know which one I'm going to be using, but you got a crash test dummy and a Darby Allin. And what angered me the most was that picture-in-picture. You're seeing him painting his face in the picture-in-picture, and we get no context of it. We don't know if they're talking about what makes him who he is, what drives him. You know how we got anything before the match started? When they did that little video pack of him being inside a body bag? Was when Excalibur with the oh man, it made me so angry. Why didn't they raise Excalibur's mic a little bit? I'm sure they're not in the arena, they're in a booth. Why didn't they raise his mic a little bit so you can hear him clearly say the reason Darby Allin is the way he is because he's dead inside, because he was in a car accident with his drunk uncle. He survived the car accident and he became dead inside. Why couldn't you, one, raise the mic on Excalibur so people could hear? And two, instead of having Excalibur do it when the match was about to start, why did you have to cut away to a commercial? Why couldn't you have explained it? Or better yet, have Darby Allin and the voiceover of him painting his face explain why he is the way he is, being dead inside. That angered me beyond stink. I don't know about any of you, but if Dynamite keeps doing this, who is going to care? We're not just covering hardcore fans, we're also covering fans of wrestling and casual fans who are just getting into wrestling. You got 3 categories of people and you're not giving enough context. And I don't care if people want to say, well, you got only a few months in. Even Impact Wrestling is not even doing that 100% correctly all the time, but at least they're doing it. For what I understand, even ROH understood that. Why can't they understand they need to set their budget of their time better instead of rushing into the matches? Put a little bit of a gap in there before you got to go to commercial and let people understand what's going on. The match itself was really good. I did enjoy it. At one point, Darby Allin was stepping on Moxie's hand, which supposedly looked like he got his hand caught inside one of the braces, which was all right. They tried to hype it up, which was fine. Darby Allin got thrown around like crazy. In the end, it was a Pentagon shift by a Moxley off the second turn. Yeah, it was the second turn rope. He planted his ass. It's in my face, and he wins. But now the question is going to be what happens now to Moxley? What happens now to Darby Allin? Darby Allin is 5th place overall in the ranking. I don't know about Moxley right now. I forgot. But when it comes down to what are they going to do with Moxley, what are they going to do with Darby Allin, when are they going to fix the problem with the women? They don't give them any video packages, no in-ring segments, no interviews, no backstage segments, no fights, nothing. If they do not do something with the women, you know what they need to do? Take them off the show. Put them on AEW Dark and advertise AEW Dark as the only place you'll see the women. Because if they're not going to do something here, you might as well give the women their own show and let it be on YouTube. Because this is a waste of time. It was still a good show with some issues. Like I said, if you're willing to go past those issues, it'll be good. But if you can't, like me, where it still pisses you off, but you still like the show, you feel like I do. Like I'm pissed off. The show was good. But I recognize they still have a lot to learn. They got issues, but I got to say something about it because that is what needs to be done. But it's just my point of view. Have a good day. Have a good night. And watch out for my NWA Power Review tomorrow. Peace.